Hello everyone, and welcome to the RightPath webinar series on professional performance. My name is Ruth Arezi, and I'm going to be your host and presenter today. Feel free to ask questions in the chat panel at any time, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Here at Right Reason Technologies, we believe that every student and teacher can and will be successful. Our RightPath Student Success System will help you navigate to that success. Looking at our compass, you can see the different modules that make up the RightPath system, and these modules can be purchased separately or as a whole integrated system. So we're going to give a brief overview on each of the different modules, and then we'll begin our presentation on the professional performance piece of RightPath. Let's first take a look at the Data-Informed Instruction module. In this module, you can help reach success by using our suite of assessment offerings, creating your own assessments using our assessment creator, and utilizing that data to inform instruction. And that data can be used in the classroom as well as part of our RTI management and tracking feature. If you would like to learn more about that, you can register for one of our Data-Informed Instruction webinars on our website. The next module in the compass is the Instructional Planning module. This encompasses our sister product, PlanBook Plus. It allows teachers to successfully plan their lessons on a daily and weekly basis, but it is more than just a plan book. It contains resources to supplement your plans with our online lessons, the ability to create quick assessments and practice, and allows you to progress monitor your students using our integrated gradebook. The next module in our success system is our learning resources and programs. This includes online lessons and curriculum for both elementary and secondary schools. We have intervention lessons in grades 1 through 8 in ELA and math, and core course materials in grades 9 through 12. These resources also help to drive our learning support programs. These programs help to improve student success and graduation rates. Some examples of these programs include credit and learning recovery, alternative schools, and intervention programs. And the last piece is what we're going to discuss today, professional performance. Today we are going to go over the bare basics to the different pieces that make up our professional performance module: observations, SLOs, and HEDI sheets and state reporting. Let's start off with a poll question before we begin. How are you conducting your teacher observations? I'll give you a minute to answer, and if you could input your answer in the chat box, and then we'll move on with the presentation. So let's start talking about professional performance. I know it can be overwhelming. Does your desk look like this when you are dealing with teacher observations and SLOs? Are you overwhelmed with all of the paperwork and scheduling? Today we are going to work towards making your workspace look more like this. Using RightPath's integrated professional performance solution, you can simplify the tasks and workflow, creating a more efficient and streamlined process. Let's start with the observations. We know everyone has to do them, but they can be time-consuming and hard to track. With RightPath, you can conduct all your observations in the system for teaching, non-teaching staff, and administrators. And we have the ability to create the forms and rubrics that meet your district's plans. Let's start by highlighting a few features, and then we'll go into the workflow of the process. Your rubrics. Your district has decided on the rubrics you will be using for all of your observation types, and we can get those rubric templates into RightPath to streamline the task of conducting these observations. Notes and comments. As you're conducting an observation, you can type any notes and evidence directly into the observation form. Then push those comments as evidence into the domains when you're scoring the observation. And districts can also set up stored comments to be used for observations as well. Administrator management. We want to help to simplify the process and make it more efficient. Using the dashboard management, you can see how many observations have been conducted, and you can use our classification feature to track how many observations are required based on those classifications. You'll learn a little bit more about this when we talk about our reports. Custom scoring. Using our custom scoring and rules engine, we can help you set up all of your weighted averages, custom score roll-ups, and lookup tables. And lastly, summary reports. Reports are available in a few different formats. What you're seeing here is our most popular report, which is the school summary report. Notice teachers have designated numbers of required observations, and it will summarize how many have been completed. And now we're going to take a look at the workflow of conducting an observation. Now let's take a look at the workflow. RightPath observations will allow you to streamline your workflow for conducting observations in your district. It all starts with scheduling your observation. Scheduling an observation is easy with the RightPath observation platform. Schedule all your observations in the calendar, and you can get a list of your upcoming observations that are scheduled right within the platform. You can start and edit your observations from the calendar as well, and you can export your calendar. It doesn't get much easier than bringing your laptop or device right to the classroom. RightPath will give you a place to track all of your observation notes right inside the observation form. These notes are then pushed right to the domain comments to support the scoring. Evidence can also be added to the observation, including the teacher lesson plan, images, and even pre- and post-conference forms. Now, based on the type of observations, you will now see your rubrics as designated by your district. Scoring is simple. Mark the score using the radio buttons and add comments and evidence to each of the domains as well. Scoring is calculated based on the custom scoring set up for each district. At the end of the observation, just input the concluding remarks and mark the observation complete. Teachers will then be alerted when observations are ready for them to acknowledge. Managing all of your observations. Administrators have built-in management features to track and monitor all of the observations being conducted in the district. They can view by building and by observation status. Drill down to the details to see the observations for a specific teacher as well. Tracking and managing the observations couldn't be easier. Use our classification and tracking feature to help note how many observations each teacher will need, and then the summary reports can then be printed to see if all the observations have been conducted. The last step in the observation process would be the end-of-year evaluations. Some unique features of the RightPath end-of-year scoring is that the administrator can select the previous observations that were conducted. The system will then highlight the suggested scores based on those previous observations. Choose to use the suggested scores or change them. Add teacher evidence and observation comments as well. All the scoring will be calculated based on the custom scoring that was set up for your district. And now we're going to move on to the SLO portion of RightPath. When dealing with student learning objectives, or SLOs, in RightPath, there's two options to create those SLOs. They can be created by the teacher, or they can be centrally administered. This one form can replace both Word and Excel documents. So what you're seeing here would be a sample of a teacher-created SLO. The SLO goal form will allow you to complete all the components for the SLO. Teachers have the ability to add their rosters, baseline scores, and set the targets. They submit the SLO for review to their administrators. Once the SLO is approved and post-test scores are loaded, a score will automatically be calculated. Some districts choose to do centrally managed SLOs. Structure your SLOs using templates to streamline the workflow for your administrators. Administrators can then associate students with an SLO using your SMS classes and load up all of your scores and manage everything from behind the scenes. Just as there was with observations, there's an SLO dashboard. Administrators have the ability to manage all of their SLOs on their dashboard. View them by status and by building, and drill in to see the details. Review teacher-submitted SLOs, and then when end-of-year exams are loaded, review and mark complete. And that's the basics of our SLO component in RightPath, and now we're going to move on to our HEDI extracts for state reporting. The last step in the APPR process is to submit scores to teachers and to the state. The HEDI sheet will pull in scores that are stored in RightPath. Overrides and adjustments can be made at any time. Input the transition scores here and also add notes and comments. The scores inputted into the HEDI sheets are then able to be extracted to be sent to the state. RightPath provides administrators with a certified Level 0 extract to upload directly to New York State. They can also get a HEDI status report that can be used for review purposes. If you're interested in more information on our professional performance piece or any of our other topics, feel free to register for an upcoming webinar. The webinar schedule can be found directly on the Right Reason Technologies website. I want to thank you for attending our webinar today. If you want any additional information, you can also contact our sales representative at the information provided. If you have any questions, you can chat those into the chat box now, and we'll go over them.